Internationally, we're also watching a group of young people from Portugal who are at the European Court of Human Rights today for what's considered a landmark case over climate change. The youth are accusing 32 European governments of violating their human rights by not fully addressing the causes of global warming. This is a case that could force radical changes to climate measures. So let's bring in Abby Kugathasan, who's following the story from London and here to tell us, first of all, about the case. Abby.
Heather, it's an unprecedented one at the European Court of Human Rights. The lawsuit was filed back in 2020 and essentially argues that governments have a legal duty to take immediate and more radical action to cut greenhouse gas emissions. And it's all aimed at the European Union member states, as well as the UK, Russia, Norway, Switzerland, and Turkey. They say these governments are not doing enough to reach the 2015 Paris Agreement target of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Scientists say right now, without significant policy changes and shifts, we are heading towards 2.5 or even 3 degrees Celsius. And that's a major concern for these 6 claimants. The youngest is just 11 years old, and they're all worried about their futures in Portugal. They point at the extreme heat waves and the forest fires that they've witnessed in their country in recent years as being a direct result of global warming. They say their human rights, including the right to life, has been negatively impacted by the inability or unwillingness of governments to act. One of the claimants is Claudia. She's 24. She says she often thinks about whether she ought to have children one day because she worries about what kind of environment they'll be subject to in their lifetime. The claimants are being supported by the Global Legal Action Network, and it says the governments involved are still dodging their responsibilities. One submission was that these are simply issues associated with living in cities, which the network says trivializes the impacts of climate change. Now, these claimants are not seeking financial compensation, but if they're successful, it could be legally binding. A verdict is expected, Heather, in the next 9 to 18 months.
Much, Abby. Abby Kugathasan from London this morning.